Okay, welcome everyone to tonight's call. My name is Leah Shepley Montgomery, and I am so excited to be hosting tonight and speaking about this really incredible topic of pregnancy and nutrition. And I'm just going to start by sharing my own personal story. I'm not a mom yet, hopefully someday, but I do have a really a story with nutrition that has really changed my life. And I'm just so grateful that 15 years ago, my mom really got educated about the power of whole food nutrition and how that's impacted me and my family. And then we're going to hear from 4 different women, and they're going to share their stories with everything from infertility to prenatal nutrition to their experiences with having healthy babies, and how these plant-based products that we all use and love has impacted them and our healthy living community. So so my story starts 15 years ago when my mom was introduced to this incredible company whose mission is to inspire healthy living around the world and really to educate people about the power of whole food nutrition, and then to help us with simple ways that we can get more whole food nutrition into our bodies. And they've actually pioneered 2 different categories in the health technology field. And the first is plant powders. So they figured out how to take 50 different whole foods, fruits, vegetables, berries. In our vegan shakes, we have ancient grains and a sprout blend, and they blended it all up and dehydrated it and concentrated it into capsules and shakes and gummies for kids. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing that the category that they've pioneered is vertical aeroponics. And they created this incredible thing called a tower garden, which is a growing system so that people can grow their own fruit, vegetables, herbs, some fruits at home. And my husband and I have ours growing in our backyard, and it's unbelievable. We grow our own lettuce, kale, herbs, just clip it right into our smoothie or into our salad bowl, and you really can't get more local or more clean than that. So my mom was introduced to this company 15 years ago. It made a lot of sense to her. We, at the time, were using broccoli as a dipping mechanism to get more ranch dressing into our diets. We were not eating the recommended number of servings a day of fruits and vegetables for sure. And so this, immediately made sense to her. We got on it, and it has completely changed the picture of our health over the last 15 years. Really helped heal my gut, which I now know my gut health was so poor because, I was on a standard American diet, but I was also going on antibiotics once a winter. And this really changed that and helped me build up that good microbiota and good bacteria in my gut, and helped my skin, my energy, really helped my sister with her focus, and it helped her wean herself off of her ADD meds, and really helped all of our immune systems. And no one in my family has been on antibiotics in 15 years. So I'm incredibly grateful that this, nutrition was brought into my family's life. And I will recommend it for the rest. I'll take it for the rest of my life, and I'll recommend it for the rest of my life, because I just believe that everyone deserves to know that this exists. And I just want to show it to you guys really quick. So there's a fruit blend, a vegetable blend, a berry blend. So these are the 3 plant powder blends, and this is what they look like. So it's a capsule, and there's powder in the capsule. And then we have our vegan omega, which I'm obsessed with. These are incredible, and it's a full spectrum of omegas, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, all from plant sources. And then our whole food vegan shake mix that comes in chocolate and vanilla, and it's so delicious. I have one for breakfast every day, and it just fills me up. And I started using it in high school, and I said to my mom, ever since I'm using these shakes, I'm staying awake in my classes and I'm doing better in sports. And so I just want to take a second and really just explain what differentiates this from all the other products out there, from prenatal vitamins, from anything else that's on the market. And the biggest thing that differentiates this is that it is whole food. So if you look on the label, it's got a nutrition facts label, not a supplement label. If this was in the grocery store, it would be in with the beets, broccoli, and kale. It wouldn't even be in the supplement aisle. And really, we're meant to be getting our nutrients and vitamins and antioxidants and all these things that are minerals, all these things that are so good for us, and especially good if we're growing a life in our body. We're really meant to be replenishing and filling ourselves with nutrients from whole foods. It's much, much better to get our vitamins and nutrients from whole food as opposed to isolated vitamins. And I talk to midwives and people in that field all the time, and what I hear over and over is they'll say, really, during pregnancy, we want to be getting our nutrients from food, not relying on a vitamin. And there actually isn't a prenatal vitamin on the market today that has research behind it showing that it's bioavailable and gets into the bloodstream. So even if we're taking these, people are taking these vitamins, we don't actually know that they're being absorbed and that our bodies are able to use them. But we know that our bodies can use and absorb nutrients and vitamins from whole food. And an apple actually has 25,000 known vitamins, nutrients, enzymes, and antioxidants in it. And those are just the known, vitamins and nutrients. There are even more that, they haven't even named. So it actually doesn't make sense to take a few isolated vitamins out of food and recreate them in a lab, and then to think that our body is going to be able to absorb that and use that. And, during pregnancy is one of the times when they say, you need these specific vitamins, right? You need folic acid, for example. And actually, the form of folic acid that is really beneficial and absorbable, especially during pregnancy, is folate, which is naturally occurring in whole foods, especially leafy greens, but really the whole plant kingdom has folate. And it's in ratios that nature intended it, and our bodies are able to, eat it up, absorb it, use it, and it goes straight into our baby, and we really want to be getting it from the whole food source. And so that's why I love, actually our garden, the veggie blend has lemon peel in it, which is a very bioavailable natural source of folate. So I know hundreds of women that have used this as their prenatal and with great success. I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about a study that was done by Dr. Odom, who's a incredible doctor, physician who delivers babies. He's actually delivered 16,000 babies over his career. And he did a study at the University of Mississippi studying pregnant women using these plant powders and what it actually showed. And it was incredible. So I'll share a little bit about that at the end. But now I want to hop into these stories, these incredible women's stories. And I'm just so excited for you all to hear from them, because I think, we can talk all day about whole food and about the products, and they're backed by research, and lots of health professionals recommend them, and all of this. And we have lots of great videos and things that you can watch to learn more about the research and learn more about this. But really what lights my heart on fire is hearing how it's actually impacting people, how it's actually working in people's bodies, and how these women have used it throughout their pregnancies and what that has resulted in. So the first woman that we're going to hear from is Janelle Lacey. So take it away, Janelle.
Thanks, Ellie. I'm Janelle. I'm a registered dietitian in the Philadelphia area. My sister-in-law lovingly shared Juice Plus with me for about a year throughout my pregnancy planning and throughout my first pregnancy, where I very lovingly said no and ignored her. I felt that I was a registered dietitian. I knew what I was doing. I had a healthy diet, and I was looking for a prenatal vitamin, but I didn't even give Juice Plus the time of day. It's embarrassing to say it now, but really grateful that she kept after me. So I went to my first pregnancy planning appointment and told the doctor that I wanted something that was whole food based. All the nutrition studies show that having food is important, you know, good variety of fruits and vegetables in your diet. No study tells you to have prenatal vitamins or vitamins and minerals in an isolated form. So I spoke with the doctor. She nodded her head and sent me out the door with things that were all different colors and were not at all what I wanted. So it really set me on a mission to find something that I was comfortable with for myself and my baby. I searched for a food-based prenatal, which if you've ever done it, it's really, really challenging. Even the best one had the isolated vitamins and minerals added to them. And it was concerning to me, primarily because the supplement industry in the United States is not regulated. That means that you don't actually know what is in it, where it comes from. So as a dietitian, I felt like if I don't know this, I really need to help other people figure this out too. So I reviewed Juice Plus again, and it answered all my questions. It really checked all the boxes for me. So I saw the impact that it was having on our other family members, really profound effects. And I still wanted more proof that it would work for me and be good for myself and my baby. So I wanted research. I went straight to the research. And there are nearly 40 published peer-reviewed studies that have been done by third parties. It's gold standard research. You can't buy your way into this. That's done on human subjects, and it has an impact factor over 115. So if you know anything about research that is meaningful to you, it also has an NSF label, which is a third-party verification that what they say is in it is actually in it and in that amount. So I felt good about that. And it also has the nutrition facts label that Ellie showed you. So again, the nutrition studies say more fruits and vegetables, not more supplements. It's regulated to food standards, with our government agencies. It's easier for the body to utilize it, which is bioavailability. And there are no risks or side effects associated with it, where if you've used a prenatal before, you probably have had some GI issues or couldn't even keep it down. They're really difficult to deal with. So when I realized what this was, I knew that I wanted it for my family, and I felt an obligation to share it with other people. I found out later that there are thousands of other medical professionals who had that same urge, that same feeling of responsibility to share this with other people. So I also want to mention that I'm a very hungry pregnant lady and nursing mom. So the bars and the shakes have been really, really critical for me. It's just quick, solid nutrition that I know I can just pull out of my bag if I'm on the go or keep in the baby's room while I'm nursing at night. I just had another baby in November of last year, and I used Juice Plus only as my only prenatal. The baby had a very thick umbilical cord. It was almost impossible for my husband to cut through it. And I had little fatigue during this pregnancy versus my first pregnancy, where I was falling asleep driving home from work. I had no morning sickness, no swelling, no constipation, had healthy weight gain and weight loss after the baby. I also want to mention the folic acid versus the folate. My doctor, when I approached them this time about my last pregnancy, about using Juice Plus, they were not familiar with it. So I really want to urge you to be your own advocate and to know that folic acid is the synthetic form of folate. Juice Plus has 475 micrograms of folate versus the 400 micrograms of folic acid in the prenatal. So it's more bioavailable. Your body is using it. It's the most beneficial way to support your baby's health. That's one of the most common things that people are concerned about in pregnancy. So that sums up the pregnancy piece. I would really also like to mention the health that my daughter has had over her little 3 years of life. She's never had a sick visit in her 3 years. She's never been on an antibiotic. She is a healthy girl going nonstop. We are frequently in childcare centers and spending time with other kids, and people are just like waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it hasn't yet. So I'm just so grateful that my sister-in-law shared this with us and that I've been able to support our entire family, through pregnancy and beyond with this quality nutrition.
Wow, thank you so much, Janelle. That's such a powerful story. All right, so now I'm going to pass it over to Darlene, who's going to share, and I'm not going to comment much because I want to keep the time low, but there's so much I could say. It's just amazing, Janelle. Take it away, Darlene.
Can you guys hear me okay? Because my tower garden pump just kicked on and it's watering my plants.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was like, out of any time. So I wanted to stand up today because I could show off my belly.
It's so beautiful.
Thanks. I absolutely adore this. And I feel like a goddess. So you'll see me like just enjoying my little time with it. So my journey with Juice Plus actually started backwards. It started postpartum. So I was a year and a half postpartum with my first daughter, who's now 3. And I was just asking my doctor, like, what can I do to boost my daughter's immune system or to keep her healthy? And the doctor at that point said, the healthiest thing that all of my healthiest patients use Juice Plus. Okay, we started thinking about it. I started taking it because if I took it, my daughter would get it for free at some point. So I was like, okay, we're on board. And little did I know this brain fog that I was blaming on, long-term nursing or lack of water, or the fatigue. I thought, oh, it's just because I have a toddler. All of these things that were really not making me feel like I had felt prior to having my daughter were because of nutrient deficiencies. It takes a lot out of us to build these babies. And within a week, I was a new woman. Energy. Brain fog was gone. My vision cleared up. I could be this mommy now that I wanted to be, and I could feel good doing it. So from then I started sharing. I thought every new mama needs to know about this. Heck, new or not, needs to know about it. It was just amazing. So I'm living life. I'm sharing with mamas. I'm feeling good. My husband and I are organic farmers. So I thought, if someone who's an organic farmer who's eating off the farm in their backyard at the highest nutritional content needs a boost in nutrition, everybody else probably needs it too. So we've been on board. We did the Shred 10 program, which is a Juice Plus program. We do 10 healthy habits for 10 days. And I pulled in my cousin with me, and I pulled in my sister, and we've got our little group of buddies doing the Shred 10. And within 2.5 months of each other, all 3 of us ended up with surprise pregnancies. The first one we thought, okay, just a coincidence, happy baby to you. And then the second one came, and we're like, maybe there's something to this. 2 weeks later, I called my sister and I said, you will never guess I'm pregnant. So there's more than coincidence to this. And I firmly, truly believe that the vitality in our systems that this product brought to us. And then when we added in the Shred 10 program, it just gave it a huge jump start. And our bodies knew that we were at the most peak nutrition. to take on that baby. So all three of us, the first one, Nicole's on the call, is getting ready to have her baby within just a few weeks from now. I just hit 28 weeks today, so my third trimester. My pregnancy has been nothing but beautiful. When I first got pregnant, I knew I was pregnant because I had a little morning sickness. And I got out of the shower and thought, well, that doesn't seem quite right. And 2 pregnancy tests later told me why that wasn't right. So Nicole had mentioned to me, again, my cousin who was in my little mama group now, said that she likes to go to 2 gummies in the morning. It's something that's palatable, it's sweet, or we can actually take it instead of like eating 4 carrots, which is what like one of the old wives tells us for morning sickness, like who wants to eat carrots? So I take the 2 gummies, press snooze on my phone, go back to sleep for 15 minutes, wake back up, and that morning sickness that I had on day 1 never came back. Unbelievable to me. I remember my first pregnancy, like crawling around trying to get dressed, and my husband going, "Oh, you're gonna make it to work today?" So that alone was huge for me. I would tell any mama about it, just to, even if they don't have it, bad morning sickness, just to avoid what they can. At week 19, my belly started growing. I started to get heartburn, and in my head, I went, "Oh, got it. That's what happens. Everything's moving, you get heartburn." Then a week later, I did the Shred 10 for that month, and the heartburn day 1 gone. I couldn't believe it, right? I should have known all along that what I eat, even in pregnancy, affects how I feel. Pregnant or not, no matter what your organs are doing, it affects you. So I have really stuck pretty hard to those Shred plans, eating, really it's eating to nourish me and my baby. And I have not had a lick of that heartburn come back, which has been so amazing. What else has been great for me? I feel amazing. My sister and I were just talking tonight. I said, some days I don't even know I'm pregnant. She's like, I know. I look down, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. We're in our 3rd trimester. We're big, we're pregnant, and we feel that good. So what all 3 of us are taking, Juice Plus is our primary prenatal. I do take double of all 4. The omegas are truly a game changer. It's the brain food that we need and our baby needs. I take 4 of the veggies, fruits, and berries every day, and keep trucking. I'm so excited. Can't wait to actually go through nursing and postpartum and have my full Juice Plus baby. So wherever you are in your journey, I wish you luck and hope we can answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Darlene. Yay! And next we're going to hear from Marilyn. Okay, you're unmuted now.
Awesome. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Marilyn Benumad. I live in Winthrop, Massachusetts, and I'm a proud mommy of 1, the almost 2-year-old. My story is about infertility. So my husband and I struggled to have a baby for 3.5 years. It started in 2014 when I learned I was finally pregnant after trying for 1.5 years. I'll never forget the look on my husband's face when I told him I was pregnant. We can finally start a family. We were beyond excited. We couldn't help but start planning and wondering if this would be a boy or a girl, or what kind of things we can start buying, preparing for, and everything. I was 7 weeks pregnant at the time. So then one day I was experiencing pain in my lower abdomen, and I knew something was wrong. My husband took me to the ER, and we learned my pregnancy was not viable. We were heartbroken, and we couldn't believe this was happening. I knew miscarriages could happen to anyone, but I never thought that it could happen to me. I felt depleted physically and emotionally for weeks after that. So about 4 months later, we decided to try again. A year went by, then 2 years, and then nothing. We decided our only option was to see a fertility specialist. We made the appointment, we sat down with the doctor, and we discussed my options. I remember feeling overwhelmed about going through the process of the IVF and all the hormone injections and all the side effects that go with it. And me being in my late 30s at the time, I learned there was only a 20% chance of success rate. So this meant that I would more than likely have to go through this process 2 or 3 times, or maybe even more. So I thought to myself, no way, I just couldn't do it. And thank God I didn't, because about a month later, I learned about Juice Plus at a wellness event. I learned about what Juice Plus can do for your health and your body in all areas, including fertility. So my husband and I jumped on board with the Shred 10. And what happened was 2.5 months later, I became pregnant. And the only thing we changed was we both added Juice Plus to our diet. I was so happy to be able to even take Juice Plus all throughout my pregnancy. And so the day my son was born, I remember the doctors and nurses were chatting amongst themselves when my son first arrived. They had me look at my son's umbilical cord. And what I saw, I couldn't believe. It was tied in a complete knot. They had no explanation as to why or when it happened, but they did assure me that my son was never in any distress. The umbilical cord was large and vascular, so it's healthy, and I'd like to believe that that made a difference with its ability, so it wasn't depleting him of his nutrients. My son is the best thing that could ever happen to me. He'll be 2 years old next month. He is happy, he is healthy, and he is thriving. And we couldn't be happier as a family. And we decided to call my little Ryan. We nicknamed him our Juice Plus baby. And that's my story. Thank you very much.
Wow, Marilyn, that's incredible. Wow.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. It's quite a story.
So next, and finally, we're going to go to Leah Landau, who's got, I think, her little baby. Oh no, she was in the shot with her, but okay.
She was doing this and yawning, so I sent her off to bed with Dad. So hi everyone, my name is Leah, and if you saw before, I have a 6-month-old little baby girl who just turned 6 months today. My story actually starts with my age. I am now 38 years old, and I got pregnant with Haddison at 37. I've been on Juice Plus for a little over 4 years, and we were not necessarily trying to get pregnant. My husband and I had just gotten married, and then a month later found out we were pregnant when we were just talking about having a child. And I voiced that because I was not taking a prenatal. I was taking only Juice Plus for, these past 4 years. And with my age, my doctors were concerned that I wasn't taking a prenatal just because of a condition called spina bifida occulta, which can grow in the first couple of weeks of pregnancy for that child. And they were specifically concerned because my father had it. So it ran in the family. And just a bigger backstory about the family. And I had learned that spina bifida occurs because of the lack of nutrition in the mom. My grandmother was a Holocaust survivor. So, she was not getting nutrition for a very long portion of her life, had 2 children, and one of them being my father's spina bifida. So I said to my neonatologist, I showed them my Juice Plus, I showed them the folic acid that was on there. At the time it was folic acid. And they said, oh my God, okay, you're totally fine. Don't worry about it. Like, we're not concerned anymore. And lo and behold, I have this amazing baby Hattie. So I think that part, really, really cool. My pregnancy was asymptomatic, no nausea. There was no bloating either before, anywhere through the pregnancy and or after I had her, not even in my feet or legs or anything like that. Digestion was on point. I never had heartburn. All the woes that moms usually give, I just was kind of waltzing through this pregnancy, which is kind of crazy. Again, my age, you'd think that it was a little bit harder, not at all. So then after having Hattie, the breast milk situation, the lactation consultant was in the room with me, and she was amazed at the amount of colostrum and then milk that was coming through to my baby. She was trying to coach me with it. She's like, oh, maybe you'll get a drop or two. Oh no, it was like coming through, and she just was in awe. And this is somebody who sees, new mamas every single day. So that was another plus, no pun intended. another thing that I noticed, I used the gummies and also the capsules. I didn't double up. I used 3 of each capsule, and then I also used the gummies and the shakes every single day of my pregnancy. And Haddison came out, and when they flipped her over to just check her spine, so that their hands was on her belly, she immediately pulled her knees up into her chest, and the nurses were like, "Whoa, kids don't do that. Like newborn kids don't do that." And it just started to show me how strong she is, how really, really strong, because I was giving her the nutrition, giving her the leanest form of protein possible with that complete. Also, I didn't need any naps, which was crazy. Everybody was like, sleep when the baby sleeps, when she was new. And even with waking up 3 or 4 times at night when she was a newborn, I still, when the sun would rise, I needed no naps during the day. So I was sort of left being like, what do I do? What do I do with this time? So now that she is a little bit older, she requires a little bit more energy. She requires a little bit more attention. And so I gotta just ditto what the first speaker, Janelle, has said about the complete being and the bars being such a lifesaver. Like instead of making a ginormous, beautiful smoothie, I take my blender bottle each morning. One-handed momming is a real thing, and that complete saves me. I do use the gummies as well as the capsules still, because breastfeeding, she's exclusively breastfed and has just begun to eat real foods. And it is amazing to see her grab a little piece of zucchini and shove it in her mouth. It is spectacular. So I just look forward to seeing her eating styles, because with the metabolic programming and all, she's had this nutrition in her since before she was even conceived. So to see what kinds of foods that she's going to eat, whether she's going to like eat the plethora because it's already in her. She's never had a skin problem. She hasn't gotten sick in 6 months, knock on wood, but also thank you, Juice Plus. I also haven't gotten sick in 3 years, including pregnancy. So, I've also been, Darlene, my tower just kicked in too. I've also been eating off the tower to make sure that, none of those E. coli scares or anything like that came to us when I was pregnant, and that made sure that we had the purest sense of nutrition for her. So I just look forward to it. I know she sees me eat my Juice Plus every single morning, and she looks really intently, and soon I'll be sprinkling it into her food, and then she'll be eating them, taking capsules before she knows it. That's my story.
Thank you so much, Leah. And if you've seen Leah's baby, if you follow her on social media, she's the most beautiful, glowing, just healthy looking baby. So it's so incredible. Well, thank you all so much for sharing those stories. It's so incredible what plant nutrition can do. And this is really the fuel that our bodies are meant to be getting. And just with the world in the state that it's in, with our, declining food supply and our toxic environment that we live in, it's really challenging to get the 16 to 18 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables a day that are recommended during pregnancy. 16 to 18 servings, that's the size of your fist. So if you're listening to this call, if you're thinking about getting pregnant, if you are pregnant, if you have young kids, I just so encourage you to get with the person who invited you on to learn more, to get started on this. It's the best thing that my mom ever did for my family. And I'm just so grateful to be able to flood my body with this every day. I'm not going to go into it now because we're out of time, but Dr. Odom, like I mentioned in the beginning, has an incredible webinar called Vine Ripened Babies. It's adorable. And he talks about the study he did and just the outcomes of women that were using the plant powders and Juice Plus versus those that weren't. And they saw, 0 gestational diabetes, 0 preeclampsia, 0 premature births, 0 toxemia, and babies stayed in their moms for an average of 8 days longer and weighed half a pound more. So just incredible, scientific results besides the stories that you've heard tonight. So we're happy to share more about that. And just get with the person who invited you on, and so grateful to all of you for taking the time out of your night to learn about this. And please, really consider it. And if you know other women who are thinking about getting pregnant or pregnant, please just share this, because the only way you hear about it is word of mouth, and you just have no idea the lives that you could change and the future, generations that could be impacted by getting this nutrition in their families' bodies. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, Ellie. Thanks, everyone.